dear Pisces. I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your February 2021 horoscope. And we're going to be talking about the personal planets. So we've got the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, and where they're going to be affecting you. Remember, if you have your Sun in Pisces, a rising sign, or Moon in Pisces, then this is how the planets may influence you. And it's becoming more personal for us, especially as we become more in tune with the energy around us, in us. Because remember, we are made of nature and stars. And if anybody absorbs everything, it's Pisces. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You're so sensitive and compassionate and empathetic and psychic that you just grab on everything. And so let's start by talking about Mars, which has been in Taurus since January 6th, still moving through your third house of communication, connection, transportation. It's also local community. And so, most likely, you may have been driven to connect with some of your neighbors or connecting with your local community online, finding ways in which you can build some support and build trust in knowing that you have community around you. It's also possible that some of you may have been dealing with some siblings, things that you need to help them work with, maybe communicating a little bit deeper with them, and also maybe helping them put some plans into place. The other thing that I would say with Mars here is that you may have had to work with your home and doing a lot of communication with others who maybe there's contractors working on your home, or you are wanting to do some things to, and I say home because we're working with really the neighborhood. We're working with also the really immediate, close circle, if you will, of yourself and those who are connected to you. The other thing with this third house is about learning and education. So it's possible that you may be gathering some new certifications, thinking about going back to school. Maybe you're in school, and with Mars here, you're kicking ass and taking names, and you are just making your list and checking it off, keeping your syllabus on track and getting your homework done. That also is probably really up for you. Like I say, if you're doing something around the educational piece. The other thing that Mars in Taurus here may have you doing is that you may be really getting your timeline. If you're doing some sort of project management, this is a great time, especially because I'm going to talk about Mercury retrograding through your 12th house. And this is a great time to spend time behind the scenes, getting maybe revisiting a plan that you had in place that you are going to then communicate out to others, maybe towards the end of the month when the sun moves into your sign. Now, it is possible that you may have a lot of talks behind the scenes, and I'll use the metaphor of a project manager. You may not literally be a project manager by trade, but you may be managing projects, whether it's in your home or it's with a little organization or group that you might belong to. Maybe it's just in the way you run your own business if you're self employed, and that you are wanting to set things up and organize them a little bit differently. And so you may be really driven, and it's already started back at the beginning of the year, to get your life, so to speak, air quote, in order and in a way that just makes sense. The other thing I would offer is that, look, we'll talk about Mercury retrograding here through that 12th house, because the 12th house is really about seclusion. It's also sort of this nebulous place, but you understand it because it allows the subconscious mind to be unlimited. And you have to spend time in meditation, time in quietness, that sort of thing, to really get the energy of this 12th house at its optimal um, level. And so when you have Mercury and you have Venus, which I'll talk about, canoodling with Jupiter and Saturn through that 12th house, you may be taking time out to listen for that little small voice, that one that speaks words of wisdom that is inside of you. And Pisces, the way that you give away your power very often and become that sacrificial lamb is when you are looking outside of yourself and going with everybody else's opinion, or you're allowing others to say, I need this, and you put their needs in front of your own. And while that has some merit and there's nobility to that, there's also, for especially the Pisces who doesn't really like a lot of boundaries, doesn't even see boundaries, then it does tip you over into that sacrificial lamb. And then eventually you may resent it, or you may wake up and go, how did I get taken advantage of? I didn't see this coming. So here's Mercury retrograding through your 12th house. Mars is in Taurus moving through the third, probably pinging you or communicating with you that, hey, there are boundaries here that need to be reset. But in order to find out what that ultimately is, you have to come back to your inner wisdom. And especially if you have major decisions that you feel are here for you. Now, the 12th house and Mercury retrograde in Aquarius it's a very private and solitary time. And so it gives you a chance to, like I say, go within, listen to that inner wisdom, and to think out of the box, to receive the unusual or that innovative information from spirit, from the higher power, whatever it is that you believe in. And you can find that it allows you to listen really deeply to come up with solutions that maybe you hadn't thought of. So if you have to make a decision and you're really looking for that solution, creating spaciousness, even if it's just 24 hours, telling somebody, you know what, I'd like to go that direction, or I'd like to give you an answer, but I need 24 hours to sleep on it. Dream state, as you are probably really in tune with, is really important. So take it to your dreams, take it to your prayers, whatever it might be. Now, granted, 12th house is also about institutions like hospitals or literal psychiatric institutions, but it also, I would like to say that it can offer retreats as well. And so, like spiritual retreats. So, you may find that life is taking you down this path of a spiritual retreat, even if you can't literally go there. You may create it for yourself so that you can listen even deeper to that inner wisdom. Big thing of, as we know with Mercury retrogrades, be careful not to jump to conclusions. Information that you get now from any source can be used to illuminate what's really going on in your spiritual world and in your subconscious world, things like that. But not everything is as it appears to be when there's a Mercury retrograde. So, again, take your time, suss it out, do some research. It's a great time to do research, especially if it's a spiritual nature. So, if you're getting signs, you're connecting with gods and goddesses, you're um, looking at the metaphysical world, the religious world, whatever it might be, doing some research around, do I actually want to take this class? Do I actually want to educate myself on this particular uh, realm? And the reason I point back to that is we've got, again, Mars in your third house of learning. So, taking your time to learn about messages from spirit, and that will guide you to be able to take the right action towards the end of the month when Mercury goes direct again. Now, the other thing is you may be having some unconscious habits that show up, and they could possibly trip you up if you're not careful. So, this is an opportunity to use your tools that when these unconscious habits show up, that you can pause and you can look at them and you can put a plan in action of how you want to work with them. I would even say that some Pisces may end up in rehab this month. And that's a beautiful thing. Or you may end up in therapy. And that's wonderful because it allows you to be able to work with unbinding yourself from the things that have anchored you too closely to um, escapism. if you will. And so getting a handle on what's really going on for you in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit, and bringing them all together in this beautiful synergy may be a this is a beautiful month to do that. And there's always a good time for allowing us to become more self-aware. And I would say that's probably going to be on your mind quite a bit this month. It does also offer, now let's talk about Venus as she's moving into Aquarius February 2nd. We have a new moon in Aquarius on the 11th. And then we have the sun moving into your sign on the 18th with the full moon in Virgo on the 27th. So let's talk first about Venus and moving into Aquarius, as well as this new moon in Aquarius, because Jupiter and Saturn are also in Aquarius. So we've got this pile up of planets in Aquarius. That's all your 12th house. Again, more activation around your spiritual realm. So with this new moon, and with Venus canoodling with Jupiter, you may actually receive some beautiful assistance from a teacher, from a mentor, from someone who wants to bless you with all kinds of support as you work through maybe some of those um, deeper, harder, not always pleasant things when you look at self awareness. You may be integrating your shadow. And you may be, like I say, if you're in rehab or you're going through therapy and maybe couples counseling, if you're in a bonded relationship that has had some serious issues, this can give you a chance to find those answers, but you'll have to look and work through them in a very deep way. Now, I realize that Aquarius doesn't appear to be as deep because it's this air sign and it has a way of being very erratic and unusual and rebellious. However, Aquarians are deep thinkers, and that this Aquarian energy can bring you into a place where you take the learning and you shed yourself, rid yourself at this full moon, especially, you shed yourself of those addictions or those escapism qualities or those things that have caused you to feel as though you're not um, able to show up the way you really want to. And then this energy, like I say, gives you a chance to be able to do it differently. And you'll have the support from, like I say, a mentor or a teacher that, or a counselor even, that can offer you mm, empowerment. I would say that's probably the biggest word here for you in the month of February. It's time for you to find your power again. And with the sun moving into your sign on the 18th, it's going to be in the first house, giving you more power to be able to say, now that I've rid myself of those things that are no longer lining up with my truth, with my authentic self, it's been weighting me down, or I've been in that martyrdom place. I'm going to take my power back and I'm going to use it as a tool to be of great service, to find compassion for others, to find compassion for myself. I would say, Pisces, that's probably the biggest thing. You need self compassion. You have been through a lot, I would imagine, over the last year, like most everybody has. And you did the best you can with where you're at. So being really gentle with yourself through this process is going to be important. Now, let's talk about personal relationships, especially because Venus does deal with romance and love. So, Pisces, when we're looking at you with the romantic and relational field, what you'll most likely be dealing with is those deeper issues or the unconscious habits that you have brought into relationship, or that the relationship is stirring up inside of you. And how do you want to approach relationship differently than you've done before? How do you want to stay in the relationship if you're bonded? And if you do, how do you create this beautiful future that the two of you are wanting to embody? I would say many Pisces may end up getting pregnant this month. I would also say that you may decide that you want to expand the way in which you two relate to each other so that it has a quality of depth to it and a quality of beauty and art form as well, so that when people see you as that couple, they're going to be able to see couples that have overcome some great obstacles, and yet are still strong. And as I like to say, it doesn't get easier, but we do get stronger. And I would say that your relationship can get stronger. Now, so single Pisces, what you may be looking at is being able to meet someone possibly through your spiritual work, through looking at the subconscious patterns and changing them, and what it may do, especially maybe you're not someone who puts yourself out there, that you decide to do the opposite and go online, do some communication through social media or an online dating app. It's also possible that you may reach out to family and friends and say, "Hey, I'm ready, set me up." It, I would also venture to say that the Pisces who are perfectly happy being single, or at least can just out of a relationship from the last year, you're most likely pretty happy staying this way. And that love and romance, it may not be your first thing that you're looking at. And so I would use this month to fall in love with yourself. Again, more of that self compassion and doing things that give you a sense of love and acceptance for yourself, because more of that romantic energy will be activated later in the year. And when I say later in the year, I see a summer of love for you. So I sense the next couple of months, Pisces, may not be as active if you're not really wanting relationship. So use the month of February to stay quiet and do things for yourself. Put on that music and dance and get in touch with the body and really stay in tune with who you are, and use the month to fall in love with yourself all over again. So again, Pisces, I would say that this month can be very healing for you in many different ways. So, whether you're bonded or you're single, this can be a time to look at these subconscious things that may pop up and really work with them. And remember, you will have support. You may have to look for it, but at the same time, I sense the universe may just drop one or two people in your lap to be able to say, "I'm here, I'm holding you, and let me help you." So it's just up to you to be able to be open to receive. And I would sense there could be a very beautiful equal exchange that will show up if you're willing to reset some boundaries and communicate them and be able to find great compassion for yourself. So, because you're very good at giving it to others. And I would sense that at the full moon, which will be in Virgo, opposite your sign, that you will be able to let go of a lot of things that just don't serve, habits and opinions, maybe even people that aren't in alignment with your healing process or in alignment with who you really are becoming. So trust that part of this deeper work that you're going to be doing this month builds more trust in yourself and more trust, hopefully, in others as well. But it's very difficult to trust someone else if we haven't trusted ourselves first. And when you're able to get out of your own way, you're able to be of greater service. And that I know feeds your soul, Pisces. One thing, just as a word of caution throughout the month, please be careful that you don't go into that sacrificial place where you overgive, overextend yourself, burn the candle at both ends, trying to get everything done. This is not a month to push as much as it is to flow. All right, Pisces, I'd love to know how this video resonates with you, how it's going. Please find me at jamiedawn.com. And I so look forward to connecting with you. Like, comment, subscribe, share to these videos, and let's talk soon. Have a great one, Pisces.